Hi everyone, so today's video I'm going to be looking at a family of catfishes, and that is Pimelodidae, and I'm just going to be talking about 3 different species that I have specimens for, that I remember that I have specimens for in this family. So, what was it? Pimelodidae are sort of a family of catfish that you do see quite often in the trade. They're quite popular, they're nice to look, or nice active fish, sometimes quite colourful, sometimes actually worth quite a bit of money. So my first example of the genus, family. Before I start, I've got a book here that is actually, so this book I've reviewed in the Catfish Study Group journal, and this is really useful for identifying different Pimelodidae and different species within that family, but also a few other families. So that's Heptapteridae and Pseudopimlodidae, I think is the better pronunciation than Pimelodidae. But anyway, so that book is written by Stephen Grant, and it's brilliant for helping identify fish, and it's got references that you can help find the actual species descriptions and help look into other species that aren't mentioned, but it really gives you food for thought on identifying different species. I've got 4 species of different Pimelodidae here, but I will start with Brachyplatystoma tigrum, or the tigrinus, and oh no, that's not it. So I don't want to get this book too wet, so I'll leave it here. I'll probably just do more of the selection, because I think really identifying different species isn't really useful when you have 4 different from different genera of different size of Pimelodidae. Okay, so I'm going to start with tigrinus, or tigrinum, which is the one that's worth. Usually it's quite popular, and it's got striking coloration in the adults, and you can only look online and you'll see the different colours of the adults. So these are all wet specimens. These are all preserved and ethically collected. I didn't kill them for the specimens or for the video, I should say, because sometimes when I forget to mention it, I do get the odd comment, and I don't really want to dip my hands too much in the alcohol. So this one has been preserved a little bit, and he has actually lost a bit of his colour, but it's not the colour you see in the adults. The adults, as I said, have this tiger stripe marking, whereas this is a juvenile. Oh, let's see if it's gonna focus. Oh my god. Okay, let's see. There. So you can see clearly this juvenile marking, it's more silvery. Maybe there is stripes sort of starting to appear, but this was definitely a juvenile. Oh, it's really, there we go. And you can see it's got this very sort of broad face, and these barbels, beautiful barbels, are sticking out the head. And like most Pimelodidae, I assume most of them are bottom dwellers. They got that sort of ventrally facing mouth, an inferior mouth, which, don't focus on me, focus on the fish. You can see quite clearly that it's got that ventrally facing mouth. And this the markings are actually counter shading. That's focus. It's actually counter shading. So counter shading works where the markings are dark on top and light on the bottom. This means if a predator's looking from above, it matches in with the bottom, which is dark, and then if it's looking above, or even prey as well, it can't really see, matches more with the lighter surface water. And this specimen is just a little baby. They grow, so tigrinum, so it's Brachyplatystoma, they grow to 85 centimetres, and they come from the Amazon, so the Amazon River, and it's quite widespread between different countries. That specimen, he's on his own, but they do reach some quite high prices, especially as they get older and brightly coloured. They are very large fish, and some of these others aren't actually as big. So The next one is some more babies, and these are often, they came in a bit strange. So they came in, they were meant to be Sorubum lemur, and Sorubum lemur is quite a popular, it's not very active, or tends not to be very active, Pimelodidae, and it is a really beautiful fish, Sorubum lemur, but these aren't actually Sorubum lemur, and it's really difficult to see on these specimens why. Just trying to... So these have these beautiful front-facing bubbles, and they tend to be quite pelagic fish, I find. They tend to remain within the water column, and their mouths are more or less, while they are ventrally facing inferior mouths, they do feed, they expand quite well to eat prey, and I find they eat frozen food quite well. They're pretty, well, they're not active, they tend to sort of hover in the water, and adults, especially of Sorubum lemur, I find they don't move. This is actually Sorubum cuspicaudus. So that is another species, and it has this extended caudal fin on the lower lobe. So that's how it's easier to tell them apart. But they're very small specimens. I've got 3 of them, and they're absolutely charming fish. But they do grow to about, I think it's anywhere from, I believe, sort of 50 centimetres to about 80. So they can be quite a substantial fish. So next I'm going to look at, oh, before I go on for raving about my favourite of the Pimelodidae, I'm going to look at a sort of one that you won't really see often. So these are known as jumper cats. I'm going to find, no, it's a caudal fin. There we go. Oh, not really, but and you can't really see. Oh no, you can't see it at all. But these have absolutely fabulous barbels. Absolutely stunning. Let me zoom in. Focus on the fish, please, not me. It's probably my colourful t-shirts. I need to wear less colourful tops. But he's got these amazing barbels for searching for food. So these have loads of taste buds, and they'll be swimming around trying to find food with these, and it helps, I assume, expand the range, but also sensory. By touching different surfaces, they can help locate in darker spots. And this coloration actually is a lot more blue in real life. They go quite silvery, and it's absolutely gorgeous fish. And I wish I could put them in more light, but that usually stains the specimens. And they're quite similar to quite a few different Pimelodidae with this sort of, the adipose fin helps tell the difference, and in the book it explains it quite well. And you can see absolutely stunning fish. These grow to 20 centimetres, and they're found throughout the Orinoco and Amazon River. And I find them quite social, very active fish, need a lot of space. Even though 20 centimetres, you're going to need a bigger tank because they just are so active. These barbels are really good for locating food. And also, just below the mouth, there's also some barbels here. Trying to zoom. And these barbels below the mouth, you could just about see from this distance, I guess. These ones are also going to be locating food ventrally below the fish as it's on its search for food. And these fish are brilliant. They've also got, the thing is the pectoral fin, you probably can't see, unless it's going to focus. They've actually serrated the spines on them. That means that if it's getting stuck in a predator, it's not going to come out easily. Now, I don't want to arrange it. I want to arrange it so they're actually under the alcohol, because otherwise that ain't great. They're absolutely beautiful, and you can get them. They're not badly priced from memory, and all of these species you can get available for variable prices. But these are absolutely gorgeous blue sheen to them that you don't see too often in so many different catfish. And I would say they are more social, so that should be taken into account. But here has to be the best and the most commonly available of the Pimelodidae. And I should mention that I believe that most, if all, are venomous. I think they are anyway. But here we have the best of them all, and a lot of people will be like, oh, it's common, so that can't be that great. Please focus. And hopefully I'll insert loads of videos while I'm trying to focus the camera on the live fish, on living ones. Drives me absolutely nuts trying to focus. But this is Pimelodidae pictus, the most common of them all, and this is a brilliant shoaling species. It grows to about 12-15 centimetre standard length, and is found throughout the Amazon and Orinoco River. Its pectoral fins are actually locked in place at the moment, and that's really good predator deterioration. If predator's going to swallow, it's really difficult. And these barbels helping extend to locate food like the other Pimelodidae, and its really variable markings make it quite camouflaged, I'd say, and also counter shading. This fish is actually quite expanded. That's due to formalin. It's not actually a fat fish in real life, but just the formalin I use it to help hold the shape, especially when they've just been imported. But these guys are absolutely brilliant. They're shoaling, they're very easy to feed. Even just after import, they eat frozen and live food, and even dry. And they've got these beautiful markings. One of my favourites. Such an active shoaling fish. They do need to be in groups, so that if you find it's not moving much, that's because it's on its own. They love to be with each other. They love to chase each other and do stuff like that. And really, I would say, if you're going to get each of these, research. I think pictures are probably one of the most abused of them all. Other than space for Brachyplatystoma, these pictures are usually, people keep them alone, and they are shoaling fish like neon tetras, stuff like that. Now I keep them in groups of 6 generally, because they can be quite boisterous in lower groups, and it helps them sort of bother each other, if you get what I mean. But they're absolutely stunning fish. And I would encourage, if you've got a larger tank, a lot of these guys are bigger fish. There's plenty of small alternatives for smaller tanks. I'd say that the pictus, Pimelodidae pictus, are best, sort of the best alternative would be best alternative to them. It's probably Coidorus in smaller tanks. And they are soft water fish. All of these are found in South America. So do not try keeping them with Phallicet, because it really isn't fair on them. But anyway, thank you for watching. Hopefully it's sort of introduced you to new species or different species. And I'm going to have to try and find a video of tigrinus adults, because I don't own any, and I don't think I have any of the juveniles anyway. But thank you for watching, and goodbye.